Hello, Mark.
Hi.
Let me just... This is not beer or food, this is a baby. And he's doing 2 months. Alright, or earlier, who knows. Not now, anyway. Yeah, fingers and legs crossed. Fingers or legs crossed, so... Oh god, I hope it doesn't come during a conference talk. That'd be interesting. Alright, so I have this stupid question of the day series, and it's sarcastic. I don't mean the questions are actually stupid, but some people say that, oh, that's a stupid question, and then it turns out a lot of people still wants to know the answer, and then people can't agree on the answer. And I have quite a few questions for Mark. I just attended a session that he did together with his daughter, and there was a lot of talk about .NET Core, and I absolutely love .NET Core, and I have a bunch of questions about that.
Okay.
And also because I know you've done a lot of open source, you've worked on a lot of libraries and so on, and I want to ask you, have you had any experience with migrating a project to .NET Core?
I have. I've helped. So there were a couple of libraries in the early days of .NET Core.
Yeah. How early? JSON file early, or?
Yeah, still project.json file early, and I wanted to use them in .NET Core projects, and they hadn't released .NET Standard or .NET Core packages, and so I actually was forking repositories and checking to see how difficult it was to get old .NET code to recompile and generally for .NET Core 1.0 it could be quite tricky.
Yeah.
But by the time 2.0 came along, it was literally change the CS proj file and recompile it for 95% of libraries, unless they were actually using like WPF or WinForms.
Yeah, and that's going to change.
And that's going to change with .NET Core 3.
Yeah, that's
will
really
support
exciting.
those things.
So what do you think about the .NET Standard? First of all, for those who do not know or are a little bit confused about .NET Standard, what is .NET Standard?
So .NET Standard, the best description I've seen of it is that in C# you have interfaces and you have classes. And the interface says this thing has this functionality, and the class actually implements that functionality.
Yep.
And so Net Standard is like a massive interface for the entire .NET framework, and then .NET Core is an implementation of that interface, and full fat .NET framework is an implementation of that interface, and Mono and so forth. So Net Standard says I have this functionality, and then the frameworks themselves actually implement that functionality.
Yeah. So when would you use .NET Standard library instead of a .NET Core library?
Basically, class libraries, Net Standard, and applications are Net Core or Net Framework or Mono.
And how would you unit test a .NET Standard library?
The easiest way...
Because you can't really unit test the standard itself. So.
No. So when you create a .NET project from the command line, you can say .NET new xunit, and that will actually create you a .NET Core console application effectively out of the box. But you can go in and edit the CS proj file, and you can add like net 461. So it's got a target framework element. If you change that to target frameworks, and then you can add net 461 in there, and then when you run the unit tests, it will run them on both those frameworks and give you the test results from both of them.
That's really, you can do that with any unit as well.
You can do it with any unit.
I think you need some more, there were some more tweaks. I had to turn off some problems. Oh yeah, I had some problems running the NUnit tests when I did that in Visual Studio. I don't know if they changed that in an update. I had to disable the test extensions in Visual Studio.
Yes, I think they were fighting there for a while.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing they've probably fixed now.
I'm a few versions behind, only because why do you have updates that are several gigabytes every week? What are you doing? What's happening?
Visual Studio is telling me there's an update available and it's 1.4 gigabytes, and I'm like, hello hotel Wi-Fi, can we? No, we can't. No, we're not.
I saw somebody on Twitter added that yellow flag in Visual Studio to his Twitter profile picture, and when I saw it in like this tweet and I saw the picture and I saw that flag, I nearly had a heart attack. I just realized that just the flag itself just gives me stress.
Yes, but it's because Visual Studio 2017, it's the ultimate Swiss Army knife.
Yes, it is.
And I'm one of those people who, when you do the original install and it says, which of these things do you think you might do? And I'm kind of like, all of them! Yes! C++ extension developments for Python, definitely! And
it's
so
like a buffet table.
Yeah,
I'll just grab everything, and at the end you have a big pile of food that, I didn't feel like it.
And now I have a huge bloated Visual Studio.
Yeah.
I really should just uninstall it and go, let's be honest, it's just .NET Core and Unity. And Xamarin.
Another question with the unit tests. So which platforms should you target? Because you need to compile for a platform to run tests.
Mm-hmm.
You need to run the tests for a specific platform. So which ones would you suggest, or if you even can suggest like a general recommendation, if you have an open source library, something that's going to be used by many developers?
I would say at a minimum you should test with .NET Core 2.0 and .NET 4.6.1.
4.6.1.
So older versions than 4.6.1 I don't think Microsoft are officially supporting anymore. There's a lot of actual production code out there running in .NET Core 2.0, so you probably do want to still be supporting those.
Yeah.
Certainly .NET Core 2.1 is amazing, and it's got really clever things with span and memory and so forth. But if you're writing a library that uses span, it's really important, like really, really important, to make sure it works on .NET 4.6.1 as well, because it's a completely different span implementation underneath.
And just with span, because that's very interesting. Where does it come from? Because I haven't looked too much into it, but I have like a vague memory that the actual implementation was an open source library that was taken on board a while ago. Do you know about it, or was it from scratch?
I don't really know about that. I think there were certainly solutions out there that did something similar.
Yeah.
And I've had people ask, how is this different from array segment, which is also a struct that wraps around a chunk of an array. But there was changes made to the .NET Core 2.1 runtime to support span, and there were changes made to C#. They introduced the concept of a ref struct and a read-only struct to support the span type. So it actually couldn't have been done in quite the same way before, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if it had been inspired by an open source project.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with new ideas.
There's nothing new.
We're just recycling and upgrading and trying to improve.
Yes, 10,000 years of human civilization. We're not inventing anything, we're just reinventing at this stage.
All right. Well, thank you so much for answering my questions. I probably have shitloads more of questions, but I'll try to keep this video short. This is not short, it's never short. But thank you very much for answering the questions.
Thank you for asking them.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
You too.
Yeah, his session, their session was actually great. So was it recorded?
It was recorded. I'm sure it will go online.
It was recorded.
So yeah, and good luck with the bump. I look forward to seeing him at
oh God, it's completely crooked now. He's like, let me try to reshape this. He's doing some weird stuff, so yeah. 2 months to go, it'll be fun. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.